Welcome, everyone, to another episode here for the Fashion Matrix podcast. Let's talk about masculine and feminine energy. That's what I want to talk about today. Uh, well, first of all, if you don't follow me on social media, you're missing out on a lot of information because I upload a lot of videos over there talking about this, that, more things. Also, I have a program called the Circle of the Rainbow Warriors, where I share more in depth, and we share, all of us. It's like a community, a support group, coaching program where we share knowledge such as this, everything that will, how do you say it, enhance, evolve, and contribute. That's the word. Contribute to the development and cultivation of the consciousness, higher form of consciousness. With that being said, let's get down to business. Masculine and feminine energy. Keep it short and sweet. In today's society, the current world, we see feminine and masculine as being opposites, right? Like they are actually opposite from each other. There's an underlying understanding, like a very shallow understanding about the yin and the yang, and that they come from the same. But most people just leave it in the logical mind, and they do not experience it. Now, let me rephrase that, or let me break it down for you. Most of the things you believe, that everything that comes to your mind, first of all, you believe that your mind is only in the brain, that's the actual mind. First of all, nobody knows what the mind is, like the actual meaning, like this is the mind. Because the mind, for the most part, and this comes, my understanding of it and what I've studied from the mind, is that it's like a system that is within the body, different parts of the body, but also excels outside of the body into energies, not the soul, but kind of like that. There's a form of intelligence or a form of mind that surpasses and transcends the body and the mind. So comes from the Vedas, from the ancient texts of India, and also the studies of the Toltecayotl here in ancient America, and a text from the Sumerian tablets and the ancient Sumer civilization. That's where I've learned all of this stuff about the mind. So the mind, it could be understood very vaguely. I'm not going to break it down, the whole thing for you. Very vaguely, it could be understood as a system that goes with the gut, the heart, the brain, and our energy, something beyond. Okay. I could talk more about that, but again, that's why I have a program. So the point is, what I'm talking about, and the way that we perceive masculine and feminine and other concepts in today's world, we only understand them and we only filter them through the brain. And when you just filter everything through your logical mind, through your brain, sometimes you miss out on the experience itself. It's like me trying to tell you just by words, by logic, how a tree is, right? How does it smell? How does it feel to be around a forest or in a forest? The smells of the forest and the mountain and the how you call it, the river, the moisture. How does it feel, right? It's different if you just logically understand it. The logical explanation of what a forest is like or feels like, it's different to live like that, read it in a book, hear it on a podcast, than actually you going into a fucking forest and experience the forest for yourself. And when you experience it, it's beyond your logical mind, isn't it? You just don't leave it in the brain. You actually feel it. There's emotions attached to it. There's energy. There's other senses involved. So when it comes to masculine and feminine energy, I believe that society has this understanding just from the logical mind. They approach this concept, this deep concept. This is a universal law, one of the universal laws of the Emerald Tablets from Thoth. The universe is always, there's always a feminine and masculine energy everywhere, because that polarity, not duality, that polarity is what allows the cosmos to exist, to creation to exist. How you and I exist. How do you get to live here in this earth, in this experience, hearing to this podcast, right? Or watching it right now? Because the combination of the masculine and the feminine energy came together, ergo your parents, and then boom, the miracle of life happened. And as within, so is without, as above, so is below. So the same process happens in different, in different levels, but the same concept. I'm talking about the concept, okay? The concept happens in the entire cosmos. But if you just look at it through the logical mind, you separate it. Your logical mind wants to dissect and separate and watch it through a magnifying glass. Your logical mind doesn't compute and doesn't allow you to experience it because it doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Like trying to experience love with your brain doesn't make any fucking sense. You have to experience it. So the more we continue operating and watching and understanding this fundamental aspect of the universe and of ourselves, masculine and feminine energies. I'm not talking about a man or a woman. That's sex. That's the gender. I'm talking about the energy of masculine and feminine, which happens everywhere, in every form, every life form, and in every part in this world. There is a masculine and there is a feminine. So what I'm going to talk about transcends the logical mind. That's why I said the whole fucking, I set up the stage to, the vibe, to understand that this is beyond just logical understanding. First of all, these energies are complementary to each other, to one another. One cannot exist without the other, because that, it's kind of like this symbol. It's the black, and those that are not watching, I have a tattoo on my right hand, and it's called Ometeotl. Some people call it Unapku. It's actually Ometeotl. It's an old understanding of the world, of kind of like the yin and the yang, but from America, ancient America. So think about the yin and the yang. There's the black, and there's a white in it, and there's the white, and there's a black in it, and they are like swirling around each other. Like they complement each other. They have the same in one another, in a bigger scale, on a smaller scale, right? So the white has a black in it, and the black has a white in it. That's the concept of masculine and feminine energy. You yourself hold feminine and masculine within you. And there's times where you have to be more feminine, and there's times where you have to be more masculine. And it has, it doesn't necessarily have to mean about having a dick or a vagina. It's not that simple. We try to oversimplify it because we approach it with our logical minds. And it's not just that. It's way deeper. What does it mean being masculine? What does it mean being feminine, right? We get deeper into that. Those questions lead you into better answers. So they are complementary. That is the number one step that I want to talk about, that I wanted to approach, is that every essence, every life form on Earth, and we'll just talk about the Earth, has masculine and feminine, all right? And every human has masculine and feminine within them. And there is that dance, that swirling that creates life. The point is, they complement each other. They're not opposites. The more we believe that they are opposites, it's so different than me. I'm a man, and a woman is so fucking different than me. Femininity is so completely different and outside of myself. The more you see it like that, the more you operate from a dualistic approach, dualistic set of mind or mindset. And what this creates, it's separation, right? It separates. And what do you get when you separate from one another? You get conflict, because then you see, oh, you're different than me, you're separated than me, you're so alien from what I understand. So, instead of trying to see what makes us alike, we see only what makes us different. And those differences, most of the times, or 9 out of 10, are things that we don't like because they're different from each other. Well, they're different from what we are used to, so we don't like them. It's outside of our comfort zone, if that makes sense. It's I'm not familiar with this because it's different. I don't understand. So I don't like it. You are very prone to disregard it. It's very easy to be just to make it lesser, make it less, which it is what you see with the movements of masculinity, excessive masculinity or excessive femininity. They disregard each other. They don't like each other. You see a lot of men complaining about women. Women should not do this. They should not be allowed to blah. And it's stupid. And then you see a lot of women trying to be, I'm the same as a man, and fuck men, the oppressors. And it's stupid as well, because they complement each other. All right. It's necessary. Both of them, both energies are necessary for life and creation to exist. And they are necessary within you, and they are necessary in a society and in everyday lives, and in a company as well. There are certain positions that are better for women, because of their mindset, because of how they operate, and there are better positions for men because of the way they are built. This doesn't necessarily mean that one cannot do the other what the other one is doing. Sometimes it means yes, that. Sometimes it doesn't. But again, because everyone has masculine and feminine energy, one can cultivate his or her feminine side, his or her masculine side. You cultivate it. And just like a tree or like a plant, the more water and the more food and nutrients you give to that plant, the more it'll grow. The problem is you don't want to outgrow one and another. You have to, sometimes you'll be more masculine, sometimes you'll be more feminine. You have to flow between the other. You have to allow the flow of these energies, like the yin and the yang. You have to allow them to, like a circle, to constantly flow and not get stuck just on one. Okay. So they're complementary. Once you understand that, then you see femininity from a whole different perspective. Instead of just making it less, you see masculinity as an important part of the world, as a necessary tool, as a necessary energy and force, as well as femininity. Feminine energy is super necessary. Otherwise, we wouldn't exist. So I think we have to transcend this dualistic approach on life and the separation. The more we separate from one another, and the more we try to separate this and that, it's either Democrat or Republican, or it's either a man or a woman, or it's either good or bad, or it's either Mexican or American, or it's either, fuck that, man. Now, I'm not trying to bring to your awareness a concept that it's not on your radar, like most hippies and spiritual people say, like, it's all one. Look, okay, you have to experience that. Again, if you just hear it and you stay trapped in a logical mind and you try to understand that everything is one, you will never understand it. You will never experience it. You have to experience it. And it's a way deeper understanding. It's a different form of consciousness. Okay. A different form of consciousness, a different level of consciousness. But the more this is a fact, the more we separate from each other and the more we create separation, the more conflict it'll arise. It's a no-brainer. It's the ingredients and the soil for conflict to grow. So instead of looking at what makes us different, look at what makes us uniquely similar. Not the same, but similar. Right? That is the eradication of femininity and masculinity over excessively power of masculinity and femininity. Because even from a man standpoint, where I have more masculine energy within me, but I have a lot of feminine energy with me as well, super feminine energy. Sometimes I'm more feminine, yeah, but the point is I am a man, ergo I have, you know, I have a tendency to have more masculine energy within me, a tendency, all right. But as a man, I can tell you, when I look at a woman, I don't look at a woman, I look at the energy, right? And you understand that they complement each other. We need that feminine energy. Even as a meditator, when you meditate with a woman, if you're a man and you meditate with a woman in the same room and you both meditate, or if you're a woman and you meditate with a man in the same room, god damn, the experience of the meditation just transcends, is way higher, because the yin and the yang. And there's actually ancient tablets and ancient teachings that said that. For example, inside the pyramid of Giza, supposedly, allegedly, I haven't been there, I've only read this and I've only heard it on videos and on seminars, there's a chamber where you can connect into the cosmos, into the higher realms of spirituality and different dimensions. But a necessary tool to enter there is that there's got to be a man and a woman, because those energies balance one another, balance each other. And that's the way to, utilize this tool, this pyramid, and connect into higher realms. Now think about that for a second. And think about your own life, how you came to be. It's because the feminine and the masculine energy. So I'll end it on this. How can you balance your own energies within you? Think about, the times where you need to be more masculine, the times where you need to be more feminine. And I've done lectures on what it means, and they'll try to break it down, what masculinity, the energy is, because it's not just, again, a gender, and what femininity is. I could give you a very simple, simplified way of understanding it. Masculinity is about action based, boom, 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 right? It's just about going after something, like, get up and doing something, moving your body and actually doing something, lifting something, or creating the podcast, actually making it, something like that. It's outside, it's outgoing. The feminine energy is inwards, masculine outwards, feminine inwards. Is about nurturing. So being a student, for example, you're being feminine, you're harvesting or harnessing your feminine energy as you're listening to this podcast, because you have to have feminine energy to accept, to embrace, and to understand the words that I'm saying. I'm being more masculine, I'm using my masculine energy right now to speak out my truth and put it out there into the internet and whatever, right? Into the entire world. Hope you understand better and try to balance it. Again, the balance, you have to follow me on social media, because I've done videos on, the hoax of balance and being all balance and being all, equilibrium. And it's hard. There's a deeper understanding on that. So go to Pablo Mentor, at Pablo Mentor, and you'll find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place, Telegram, all over the place. All right. And if you want to listen, if you want to subscribe to my program, The Circle of the Rainbow Warriors, to understand more about this, to have a one-on-one session with me, to talk with other members, and to, support each other, and to raise questions, and to discuss issues, go to pablomentor.com. You'll find out the program. There's level 1, there's level 2, and it's only $50 a month, something like that, right? Also, the seminars that I have going on, and the other things that I have going on right now for me. All right. Thank you for listening. Be the best version of yourself. And until the next one, Ometeotl.